Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're looking at something quite personal.
Mm,
It's one person's reflections, their own written thoughts, actually, on turning 31, and their hopes for the year ahead.
right. And the idea is to explore that perspective, see what feels universal about, well, life, gratitude, maybe personal growth.
Exactly. It's a direct window into someone's mindset at a specific moment.
Yeah, which is pretty unique. You don't always get that raw reflection.
Okay, so let's dive in. The first thing that really struck me was the reaction to hitting 31.
Tell me.
It wasn't just, hooray, birthday. There was this mix, gratitude, definitely for another year,
Right.
but also this real, sadness for people who didn't make it that far. They actually used the word lucky.
Ah, that contrast is powerful, isn't it? Gratitude and sadness side by side.
Yeah,
It suggests maybe a deeper awareness, not taking life for granted, understanding it's fragile.
that makes sense. It feels mature,
Hmm.
aware of the bigger picture, even in a personal moment.
Right. It makes you think about how often our own joy might be tinged with that kind of awareness.
Mm-hmm. So after that initial reflection, the writing looks forward. Plans for the next year until 32.
Okay, what's on the list?
First up, continuing to learn British Sign Language.
Oh, interesting. Continuing it.
Yeah, the continuing part stood out. It suggests commitment, doesn't it? Not just a whim.
Definitely. Points to ongoing personal development, maybe wanting to connect more broadly, too. It's a sustained effort.
Totally. Then also continuing their vlog.
Okay. So documenting the journey.
Seems like it. Self-expression, maybe. Or, like you said, connection. Putting their experience out there.
Could be both. Vlogging is such a modern way to, well, journal, isn't it?
Right.
Reflecting publicly, perhaps. Capturing this phase of life.
True. And then there's more creation. Continuing to write songs and stories.
Ah, the creative drive.
Yeah, definitely a strong theme. Building things, expressing that inner world.
That's often fundamental, isn't it? That need to create something. For well-being. Maybe just for the sake of making.
Yeah, feels important. Then there are broader goals.
Like what?
Spending time making the most out of life. That's pretty big.
That's, yeah, intentionally living, perhaps. Purpose.
Spending time with family. That one feels very grounded.
Right. So if you look at those last two,
Mm.
making the most of life, family time,
Mm-hmm.
they feel like the core values underneath everything else.
Exactly. Like the BSL, the vlog, the writing. They're ways to make the most of life, maybe?
Precisely. The specific actions serve those bigger ambitions, intentional living, strong relationships. It shows how things connect.
So pulling it all together, what are the main threads we're seeing?
Well, definitely gratitude right from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Then this commitment to keep learning, keep growing,
Yep. And creative expression, very clear.
and that idea of intentional living, making the most of time.
And underpinning it all, the value placed on family, on those connections.
And it's interesting how they might all feed into each other. Well, like learning BSL could lead to new connections, which ties into family or making the most of life. Writing songs could be part of expressing yourself and living intentionally. They're not totally separate boxes.
That's a great point. They weave together to create a sense of purpose, maybe?
That's how it feels, yeah. A synergy between the different goals.
Okay, so to recap, we've looked into this personal snapshot at 31, saw that initial, quite poignant mix of gratitude and sadness,
That awareness.
followed by these clear intentions, learning, creating, living purposefully, and really valuing family.
It's a really good reminder, I think. Even in one person's very specific thoughts, you find these bigger themes about how we try to live meaningful lives.
Balancing growth with appreciation.
Exactly. Balancing our own development with our connections and just being present.
So on that note, here's something for you, the listener, to maybe think about.
Mm-hmm.
Reflecting on your own milestones, big or small.
Mm.
What are you genuinely grateful for right now?
Good question.
And looking ahead, maybe just the next year, what are you excited about pursuing? Learning, creating, connecting.
And perhaps, how do you find your balance between pushing yourself forward, nurturing those important relationships, and, like the writer said, making the most of each day?
Definitely something worth considering.